I want to be real honest with you at this time. This is a time in our lives where we're really challenged. I want to share with you, out of my own life, some challenging times that I've had. I've had moments in my life where I have not been able to answer the question of why. Why should I get up in the morning? I've struggled at different times with anxiety and depression in my life. And there are those moments when that stupid alarm clock goes off and I hear the phone buzzing and it's time for me to get up. And I don't always have the reason nearby as to why I should get up. Sometimes I think about maybe just sleeping in, and I think about maybe lying to my wife and saying, you know, honey, I'm not feeling too good. Can you take care of things today? And many times where I just simply don't want to go. And then a lot of times what wakes me up in the morning is fear, because I know that if I don't get up, then things don't happen and people get upset and I've got to cancel appointments and I let people down and I don't want to do that. And plus I have life. I've got things that I have to get to. So I've struggled with that. I've struggled with sometimes that inner motivation of why. But in my life, because of what Christ has done in my heart, the answer is not too far off. All of us have to answer the question of why for our lives. And what do you think for your own life? Do you have that for your life? I mean, why do we get up in the morning? I know for a lot of you, the reason why you get up in the morning is because you have kids. They get you up in the morning. You have many responsibilities, and so that sort of compels you. But if you have to be honest with yourself, you would say a lot of times fear and anxiety get you up in the morning. We are in a time of crisis right now with the COVID-19, and we can't even come together for worship service to celebrate the resurrection of Jesus Christ on Sunday. Now, with regard to celebrating Good Friday, that's what this message is all about. And so there's a sort of a fitting part to all of this where the pews behind me are empty. And there's just sort of the air is out of our lungs a little bit. I don't know about you, but have you been experiencing more anxiety recently? Even kind of felt a sense of purposelessness because life has been upside down for you. Your routine has been changed in so many ways. And so that change can kind of take the wind out of your sails, and you can get frustrated with a new routine, and you're having a tough time answering why in your life. So I'm wondering about Jesus. Did Jesus ever have to struggle through the why question in his life? Did he ever have trouble waking up in the morning? I can imagine as Jesus prayed to his Father and he found out what was going to happen later that day, that he might have struggled with some things. Like, how many people am I going to have to see today? I mean, how many people? Like what? You said 5,000 and then some? And then, of course, the Holy Week. Can you imagine having to wake up knowing what you're going to face the rest of the week? Imagine Jesus looking at his itinerary and looking at it and going, you know, this week, the enemies in my life are going to get extremely bold, and they're going to plot, and they're going to seek to murder me, and my enemies are going to multiply, and they're going to win over the crowds, and they're going to get together, and they are going to find me, and they are going to arrest me. And then they're going to put me into this very unfair trial, and they're going to condemn me, and they're going to want to curse me on a cross where I die. And then these enemies of mine are going to have authority figures in their life who are going to allow this to happen. And then there are going to be some people who were there for me beforehand, and they were cheering and they were supporting, but either their voice has been lost or they're now saying, crucify him, crucify. And I'm going to have to face the soldiers. And they're going to take this crown of thorns and they're going to put it on my head. And they're going to strike me. And they're going to pull up my beard. And they're going to mock me. And then they're going to strip me. And they're going to beat me to a pulp. And they're going to flog me to an inch of my life. And then they're going to make me carry this beam to this high mount. And I'm going to pass out exhausted, and someone's going to have to carry it up the rest of the way for me. Somehow I'm going to make it up to the top. I don't know how. But there, the soldiers are going to put me on a wooden cross, and they're going to stretch me out, and they're going to nail me to it. And then they're going to hoist me up high in the air, and I'm going to bleed and suffocate to death. And then what about my friends? Are they going to be there for me? No. Every single one of them is going to abandon me. Matter of fact, one of them, when I tell them what's going to happen, with all my heart I'm going to tell them, this is what's going to happen, guys, look out for it. And none of them are going to listen to me. And then, in fact, that one guy is going to take me aside and he's going to rebuke me, convincing me that what I'm doing is wrong. And then that same guy, later on, when I go get arrested, he's going to, after I've taught him about loving people, he's going to try to murder somebody for my sake. And then later on, he's going to deny even knowing me 3 times. Then another friend of mine, so-called, he's going to allow Satan to enter into his life, and he's going to betray me. And all my other friends that I've counted on them through thick and thin, and now, even though they say they're not going to deny me, they all scatter. I know they're going to do that. And they couldn't even stay awake and pray with me. In the hour where I'm dripping drops of blood over anxiety, over thinking about going to the cross, they're going to be at their worst. And what about my father? My father is going to be looking on this whole time. And I'm going to be praying to my Father, God, if there's some possible way for this not to happen, you gotta find some other way. And 3 times, I'm going to hear back from him that there is no other way. But you know what? I'm going to be okay with it. I'm going to be okay because this is the mission that I'm on. This is the calling that I've been given. And I'm going to see it through, even to the very end, even to my last breath, even to the fact that I'm on the cross and I'm crying out. I'm going to see it all the way through, even though the whole time he and I both know that I don't deserve this, even though I know the whole time that he could come and save me. He could send legions of angels to come and rescue me, but I won't let him. And then there will be a time where he's going to have to turn his face from me, and we're going to be separated because I'm going to be bearing upon my shoulders the sins of humanity. I'm going to be dying a cursed death where the righteous wrath of God towards our sin, towards the sin of all the people that I'm going to go to the cross for, it's going to be laid on me even though I don't deserve it. Now, if Jesus had to face all of that, that's a lot of anxiety, that's a lot of pressure, that's a big agenda to have to face, to wake up to. But I want to share with you that Jesus was a man on a mission, that there would be nothing that would take him away from following through with what his Father wanted. And so we have verses like Hebrews chapter 12, verse 2 that are so encouraging for us because it says this, that for the joy set before Jesus, he endured the cross, scorning its shame, and sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. For Jesus, it was joy. The joy of knowing his reward, the joy of knowing his exaltation, the joy of knowing how it would please the Father, the joy of knowing that he'd be fulfilling his destiny of why he was put on this earth, the joy of knowing that he would be proving his love for people like you and me. For Jesus, it was joy. I don't know about you, but that inspires me. That compels me. That convinces me. That fills me. That gives me a reason in my life where I will go on. I will get up. I will face the life that God has given me to face because, frankly, Jesus died for me. He died for someone like me. And when I get up in the morning, I know that yesterday was paid for. Yesterday is totally, completely redeemed, and I'm facing this next day forgiven, set free. I'm adopted. I'm in his family. I am loved. And I've got a future that is guaranteed, a future that will last forever, a future that is quite glorious. No matter what happens, he's got me. And I have a present mission in my life. I am filled with his message, with a mission, and with a vision to let everybody know what Jesus did for me. I am filled with hope. I am filled with relief. I am filled with gladness. I am filled with passion for life because Jesus suffered and bled out for me. How about you? Whenever you're looking for a reason for life, Jesus gives it to you at the cross. He proved himself for you right there. He loves you, and he paid the price for you. So what you going to do? And that is something that as you want to celebrate this Holy Week, I would just encourage you to draw close to your God. I want to challenge you to do something. Would you read Luke chapter 22 and 23? Now, if in your household you've got kids with you, read it along with them. Or if you're alone, get on social media and go over this passage with somebody else. But read the story of what happens to Jesus in Luke 22 and Luke 23. But as you do that, hear Jesus say to you the entire time, I did this for you. You know, when I was beaten here, I went through it for you. You know, when I was up on that road and I was exhausted and I fell over out of exhaustion, I did that for you. When I let them nail me to the cross and humiliate me, I did that for you. When I screamed out my last breath and I said, Father, into your hands I commit my spirit, I did that for you. When I said, it is finished, I finished it for you. Hear him encourage you at the cross.